8 performances a week. I have to ask you a couple things. First of all, how demanding is that? And then also, how do you get your Yankee fix or your sports fix when you were on stage so often?
Well, starting with Rock of Ages, yes, it was a beast of a show, and I probably missed a handful of performances in like 3 years all in. So, you know, it is a lot, but it's something you train for your whole life, just like these guys. I mean, they play 162 games, I mean, and a lot of them do play every game. Some guys pitch practically every day, and it's insane. So I think it's just something you condition yourself, your mind, you know, you've trained for, and I love it. I love it. I think there's nothing like that. You know, I enjoy it, but you know, it can be hell as well, especially with Jekyll and Hyde. That was a beast because you're playing like two roles. You're on stage the whole time. You're the title character. You're doing tons of press. You're touring. Those matinees. The voice does not want to be there at like 1 o'clock in St. Louis. You know, it doesn't. It's not happening that day. Maybe.
Was the transformation scene? I saw this on YouTube because I didn't see the Jekyll and Hyde.
Those YouTubes.
But it looks so intense what you're doing there as the Jekyll and Hyde transformation is taking place. I mean, you have to bring your A game every performance because that was intense for me to just watch it on video.
Well, thank you. That's an illegal video, so kids don't watch it. But that's okay. But look, it's part of our world too, and I think in a way, eventually it will become a part of the accepted sort of norm of Broadway too. And some shows kind of do that. They have like a live tweeting section and things like that. But it is, man, it's intense. I had to dig deep, and it was an amazing run. We did. Long tour, and we did a limited run here in New York, and I got some great notices. So I wasn't back at the Tonys this year with the show, but hopefully on the next one.
Now, one question you didn't answer for me. How do you keep your baseball fix?
Okay, yes.
You're on stage at 8 o'clock. CC Sabathia could have just struck out his 5th batter in a row. How are you getting your...
It's sort of... The great thing about baseball is it is a long game, and there's so many games. And it's there's something, growing up as a kid, watching the start of the game. Then I had to go cut the lawn, so maybe I had the headphones on, or my dad had it on in the garage. It'd be playing on that crappy AM radio, and just the sounds of the game, and your sort of the soundtrack of your summer and your youth, right? So that's the great part of it. Like, you don't have to watch every single moment as much as we'd like to, and I pretty much do. It's nice to sort of check back in, after you had to run out, and now I have a baby, and see how the game has progressed. It's awesome. And don't get me wrong, sometimes, you got to just change the channel because they just are upsetting you. But at the Brooks Atkinson, where we opened Rock of Ages, we had TVs on both sides of the stage. The crew is like, these are like real New York guys. They all love the Yankees. They love sports. There was just a TV on each corner backstage. So you could always kind of check, then run on stage.
Wow.
World Series. I had one in my dressing room. I got Yes Network is in my contract. You can check that with anyone. I had it all over the country.
Wow.
Okay,
that's
so
impressive.
That's like the one little, separate the M&Ms by color rock and roll thing.
That's in your rider.
That's in the rider.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you just gave me a nice segue.
Luckily, it's you can get it everywhere, which is great. They
the,
might have to pay a little
largest-
extra that month while I'm in town. But
I should give a plug here. Most viewership of any regional sports network in the country. So you've allowed me to give a free commercial.
Duh.
But I read an interview you did with peoplemagazine.com, and they asked you what is your pre-show routine, and you said you watched the pregame.
Oh, always.
Yes.
There's something about coming to the theater. I said this recently too. There's nothing like a beautiful spring day, walking to work, knowing you're going to put on an amazing show that night, a full house is coming to see you, you get to work early, you turn on, the end of Mike Francesa, into the pregame and all of that, and the game, it's just, I'm getting ready for the show, some people coming in and out. You
never switched from the pregame, right? You said you might switch from the game, but when Bob Lorenz and I are there, you're hanging on every word, I assume, right? Clearly.
So it's just part of what I do, it's just a great sort of fun thing to be able to check in with, and it's just kind of part of my routine. I mean, everyone laughs when they come in because, Broadway loves their sports. Don't get me wrong, they do. But not everybody is as into it as I am. Let's just say that. So my director Jeff Calhoun would come in, and he loves sports, but he would always laugh. He's like, oh my God, you and your sports, So it's just cool. I enjoy even the white noise of it in the background too when I'm kind of getting ready for work.
I saw you in April standing on the field at Yankee Stadium. We were having our production meeting for Yes that day about what we were going to talk about in the pregame. And you had said, I just flew in from somewhere. I got to do the anthem. And you were a little tense, not nervous, but you wanted to do well. What is that experience like? 50,000 people, opening day at Yankee Stadium. Hey, Constantine, you want to come over and sing the national anthem
versus
for us?
The Red Sox, too. It was just one of those moments and a beautiful day and definitely heavy. It's just sort of like the culmination of all of your youthful moments in sports coming together and, standing on home plate, just Hall of Famers up both sidelines, and intense. And, going back to Lou Gehrig's famous speech, even though we're in a new building, it's not friendly for sound as far as singing these things. There's a gigantic delay. So it's something you deal with, but it's part of the moment, and you just dig in. And at one point I was just like, well, I'm going for it. I don't know what I sound like, but I'm just going to let it rip, because it's hard. It's really hard to hear. And one of these days we'll get one of those monitors and we'll do the whole thing. But it was awesome, and the response was great. And unfortunately, I didn't bring them much luck that day. But since they've been my scrappy Yankees team, and I think we found a little place now where I think we've gotten so much production out of these guys that we're plateauing a little bit. But it'll be nice to get some of maybe the captain back, Granderson, and pick it back up again.
Yeah, this has been an interesting Yankee season for all the reasons that you just hit on. I think there is sometimes Yankee fans who are kind of, wake me up when the playoffs start.
No.
But this team, to me, has been interesting in its unpredictability. Who thought Wells, Overbay? Who thought you were going to get that? Cervelli, before he got hurt, was playing very well.
Claiborne.
Claiborne's been great.
Boone Logan, guys like that.
Phelps has really done a nice job in the rotation.
He's awesome, Phelps. I love him. And Stewart's been really good, too. And he's actually, had a good offensive year, decent. He's a great defensive catcher. Strangely had a couple of little things over the last few weeks that cost us. But that's part of the game, That's what's great about it. It's those little things that make it so much different than every other sport. But I'm looking forward to a good season. I think they're pitching great, and we got to hit a little better. But we're in a good place. Second place is always that good place to be in, just within a few games, striking distance. I like that.
Do you ever, when you meet, you mentioned how David Robertson and David Wells and Cervelli and A-Rod and other people came to your show. Do you ever want to pick their brain about their profession and wonder what their routine is? Because I've also heard you say several times that one of the big things that is part of what you do is rest. And people don't think about that, but when you're doing what you're doing and it's that physically demanding, you have to make sure you get rest. And I know Jeter told me that once. Jeter said on the road sometimes he'll sleep, he'll get up and eat breakfast, and he'll go back to sleep again.
You got to do it. We have one day off a week on Broadway and on tour as well. And when you're touring, a lot of times you're doing 1 week or 2 week engagements, sometimes longer, but you're traveling on your day off. And as you guys know, that's not really a day off. It's just a lot. It's so we have what's called golden days. So when you're in a city for, let's say, 2 weeks, that second Monday, that's a free day. Wow. There's no travel. That's like, wow, that's the skies open up with glory and love, and you just sleep in all day. And it's awesome.
Everybody likes to sleep in once in a while.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
People are like, you work at night, come on, you work 2 hours a night, and it's like, do you think I just show up to the theater and then I can put on a show like that? Plus, I'm usually up at 6 a.m. 2 or 3 days a week on the road doing press as well, like morning television, radio, all that stuff. So it's not that easy, but I like it.
What's on tap for you next? I know you're doing an Air Supply, a musical built around Air Supply tunes.
Well, Graham Russell is an amazing writer. He wrote, all the songs of Air Supply and a lot of other songs as well. They've been around forever, and they're an awesome pop rock band. And they have these great songs that if you strip them down, they really lend themselves really well to storytelling. So just working on an adaptation of their music, this thing called Lost in Love, and it's a modern-day Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare, told with these songs as well, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So we're kind of building that up. Also, I have my new show in the works, The Toxic Avenger, which actually is the story of New Jersey's first superhero. So I don't know if anyone knows that. But no, it's a cult film from the 80s by Lloyd Kaufman by the same title, The Toxic Avenger, like a cult horror film, really like a B movie, big in like the Comic-Con world of things, right? And David Bryan from Bon Jovi, he wrote all the music and all the songs for the show. He won the Tony for Memphis. He wrote Memphis along with Joe DiPietro, and he's like a big deal musical, composer now. And it sounds crazy, but it is such a heartful, funnier than Book of Mormon, awesome rock show. And I think the tri-state area will just really respond well to the show because they can relate to like the New Jersey jokes and and the toxic waste, and it's a lot of fun.
When will that hit, or when will we have the chance to see that?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully this year. If not, we'll launch it for next season, early next spring, in time for next year's Tonys, which is crazy to think about, but that's how the schedule kind of plans out itself. And so we're excited about that. But I'm back in the studio writing new songs. I'll be touring a bit, doing some New York area concerts as well, and. I don't know. It's funny. The guys that look after me, they're like, you got to cut the hair, and we're going to focus on film and television and all this. And I just want to do good work, and I guess the hair has become a part of,
You couldn't play for the Yankees like that,
I could not play for the Yankees
like that. You'd have to really get a serious cut. You have to get a serious cut.
Well, I had a nice beard going. Well, for Jekyll, I had like these chops, and then I let like the rest of the beard grow in, and then I just cut the mustache out. And I have pictures of it somewhere, but they're only for me. I
got to ask you one last question before I have a little surprise for you here. No social media question. You're on Twitter. You like it? Do you enjoy it? Does it annoy you? What is your feeling on Twitter?
I was watching something this morning that was really funny. I guess Jimmy Kimmel had done a thing with all these NBA stars, and they read hateful tweets about themselves. That's amazing because... there are so many hateful people out there. It's just sad, but it does give them a voice, and I think it's great that people can, share their thoughts in short form like that. But for me, as someone that's, a lot of it's about my business too. I run a small shop, small production company. I'm no big star or anything like that. So it's important for me to get information out there to the fans, and hopefully they'll keep supporting my work. So in that respect, I dig it. I do think, sure, like anything, it can get a little out of control. But it's nice that we can all kind of have like a network of, way to talk to each other and publicly and all of that. And
you tweeted me when we were both at a Gaslight Anthem concert.
Isn't that cool? Because I read that you were there, and I was literally right there. I was just nuts. So, yeah, they were awesome. That's great what they do down there in Asbury Park. Yes. They do the Stone Pony Summer Stage. If you've not seen it, it's awesome. It saved the Stone Pony, and it's great how the shore is coming back, and great memories growing up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to. You mentioned baseball cards earlier. I got 2 packs of opening day 2013 Topps.
Wow.
Here are the rules. We looked through the cards. We only got 7 cards.
I'm so OCD. Inflation. I would keep these like unopened.
No, well, I'll mail you like a new pack.
A Puig rookie card in there that's going to be, big money one day, like $13.
Yeah, that would be about what it would go for. Whoever has the best card gets to keep both packs. And we debate on who is the best. And it can't be any of these like...
You leaders that like an animal.
Of course.
You gotta like down the seam.
It's Christmas Day. I'd go right after it. It can't be highlights or leaders. It's a current day player.
It's fine. I already see one I like.
I got a good one. Oh, I got 2. We're
gonna go 1-to-1.
We got. You have the time to do that?
No, let me see. Okay, I know I got that. Okay, and all right, I already.
How about
already dominating?
Like a hand of poker, we pull. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, come on. I'm dominating.
This is a good day. We might have game over here. All right.
This is game over. Okay,
why don't
best
you...
starting pitcher you have. Do you have a starting pitcher?
Jared Weaver.
Okay, I already dominated because
Who
I
you
got
got?
Felix, and I got like...
I'll give you that.
I got King Felix, and it's like...
That's a win.
It's like
That's a win for you.
And it's a 3D card, so...
That's nice.
That's pretty on.
That might be a win for the whole pack for you.
A couple of good righties, I know. All right, best... you got an infielder?
My infielders are a little lean. I don't have an infielder.
You got a best righty bat?
Mike Trout.
Ooh.
Top that.
Well, I can sort of, but...
Who do you got?
I got Dustin Pedroia.
You know what? Pedroia's got an MVP. Trout doesn't. This would be a good debate. I mean,
that's a good debate.
If you're asking me, based on the rules that I gave today, Pedroia wins. Trout has only got 1 year under his belt. Going forward, which card would I take? I'd probably take the Mike Trout card, but...
That's a good one. Okay, and I actually have a second Pedroia card, which definitely, because I have like a special card there. That's like the...
How did you get 2 Pedroias out of 7 cards?
2 Pedroias, same picture. Thank you, Topps, for not changing the picture there or anything. Just be lazy about that. Just kidding. Okay, and this one's just like, like a sort of special edition, kind of glossy one. Okay, how about biggest do you have any disappointments? Guys that were going to be like a big deal and then they haven't quite panned out yet?
No, you know what?
I got a couple of those.
I have a guy who has been up and down in his career, and he had a bad night the other night I was watching. Brandon League.
Okay.
But,
don't know much about him.
How about this? I have Brandon League and Miguel Montero, who were both on the field for that crazy brawl the other night.
That's right. That was kind of crazy. I got Jason Hayward, Alex Rios, and I got a Hanley Ramirez, and I'm trying to figure out who between them has had more of the sort of like strangely disappointing kind of career overall.
That's a good debate in and of itself. It might be, for what he was supposed to be, I think it might be Hanley.
I think so too. I'm seeing that right there. Hanley. Rios has had a productive career, but he was kind of going to be a big deal too.
He was.
And Hayward just can't stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy, and he's still young. He might get it together. I
also got big game James Shields there.
You got a great pack.
I got a great pack.
I got Scherzer, who's a good pitcher, Houston Street, who's not bad, Billy Butler, who puts up decent numbers and kills the Yankees.
He does.
They're yours. You win. Give them to Milena.
Thank you. She'll throw them at me, just like I used to do. We used to do that too, man.
Absolutely.
It was awesome.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you, Jack.
It was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Had a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.